So there's these two women, and they're ahead of me, and they're getting ice cream. And the guy, I've never been in an ice cream parlor or getting ice cream where the guy was so mean. He was like so mad and so mean. It was like, he wasn't like, hey, I give ice cream to the world. I give ice cream to the society. He was so upset for some reason. And the woman she's like, can I try the chocolate? And he goes, okay. And but he's more like, all right. And he grabs a spoon, little spoon, they're little tri-spoons. He gets into the chocolate and then he gives it to her. And as she's eating it, she's going, she's got another friend with her. She's going, And then the guy goes, it's one free try, which I've never seen before. I've never seen that before. One free try. For like, you can't, what am I trying to say? One free sample. He goes, one free sample. And the lady goes, well, then how am I going to know what I like? And he goes, well, she could try it. She can try the other one. And cause she takes the sample and she goes, that's good. Can I try the cinnamon? And he goes, one free sample. And she's like, how will I know what I like then? And he goes, have her try the cinnamon. And she goes, but that's not me. That's not she's like, how will she know? Like, he's like, she'll tell you if it's good. And I've never seen that before. And it just made me laugh. And then she goes, her friend wasn't even eating. She was like, I don't want ice cream. And I just thought that was a very unique experience.
And you're not on this guy's team.
No, of course not. I think he's the devil incarnate.
He can't, first of all, I mean, he can't be handing out samples willy-nilly. Like, that would be annoying to me to be like, can I try that?
What are you
Can I try that? Can I try that?
talking about?
I think that's like a little much. Like, you need more than one sample. Typically, I'm deciding between two. And it's like, let me see if this one looks kind of good, but it might not be worth it. But they're all the fucking same.
What the hell? Whose side are you on?
This dude's. Also, for you being in line, weren't you a little annoyed to be like, if she got five samples, you wouldn't be pissed?
No, I understand completely. You need to. I mean, if she's getting
no, you
full,
don't. They're all
if she's
the
like,
same.
Let me try the chocolate one more time. Let me try the chocolate again. Like, you need as many samples as you can to try them.
I don't think so. Like, they're pretty self-explanatory for what they taste like, unless it's one of those blue ones with weird colors in it that's like Cookie Monster flavor.
This is crazy. This is like, you're like a capitalist pig here. This is insane. There is no shortage of samples. Like, unless
it's a waste of time and of plastic.
But it's not one spoon. I mean, it's one spoon per person.
But in your world, it would be like 50 spoons. How many of them do you really need to try? Like chocolate, vanilla,
all of them.
Chocolate, peanut butter.
You get to try as many as you want until you decide. There is no. I mean, yeah, if it's different spoons every time, but you give the spoon to the guy and go, let me try that one. Like, yeah, if there was a lot of spoons, then you'd have an argument. He's not going to
dunk that spoon back into the second sample. What are you talking about? The spoon she just licked off of? He's going to throw it in the teeny tiny garbage can that's on the counter and then get a new spoon. Really, dude?
Maybe that's an argument. I mean, I still think
into the vat of ice cream or used spoon.
Look, I wish I wasn't chubby because we could all see my motives over here, but I sincerely believe that you should be able to have as many, I'm not saying it's not multiple samples for one ice cream where you go, I really don't know if I like the pecan waffle. Let me try to get the pecan waffle again. And then they go like this, they go, okay. And then you have maybe third time's the charm on the pecan waffle.
Right. I'm with you. But I think 2 samples tops. You shouldn't have to try every single ice cream. Like, I feel like you generally know what you want going into it.
Now, why is that?
I don't know.
You think they're wasting ice cream doing that? Whose side are you on?
It's wasting everyone's time.
Like, okay, so that's the issue.
I roughly know that I want chocolate PB. Like, that's always what I swing for, is something in that realm. If there's one that sounds kind of good, but I'm like, is it going to be better than the chocolate PB? then I would want to sample that.
Right.
But past 2 samples, it's like you don't know what you want.
Right. Well, you're very lucky that you know what you want. For some
You
of us,
don't have a favorite flavor?
Oh, I do. I get cookies and cream and peanut butter every time.
So what was your sample?
I didn't take a sample. I mean, I took a sample yesterday. I got a
Really?
milkshake yesterday. I'm saying for these people, because I have, some call me, I guess I'm liberal, but I care about people more than I care about businesses. So but you're also, your side is caring for people too, specifically you.
Well,
because
no.
you're picturing yourself behind this person.
Yes, but also the employee.
Going, I gotta get to Sagalow's house.
But also the employee. Didn't you work like service jobs before?
I did. I actually was an ice cream scooper. I worked
So
at
would that not piss you
Fridays.
Fridays.
I worked at Fridays or Friendlies. Sorry, Friendlies. But I also worked at Fridays. I worked at both of those.
You wouldn't be faced with this problem. They wouldn't be sampling.
I would give as many samples as the person needed, but it is on that. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm behind the counter. I don't give a shit. I'm here till 6. Okay. If it becomes 6:01 and you're like, can I try I'm off. All right. You can try whatever you want when the next guy comes on. But if this person wants to take all day, let them take all day. I don't give a shit. I'm not paying for the spoons. It's not coming out of my paycheck. I don't give a fuck. The people behind.
I guess. I don't know. I think
But
it's
I
crazy to
understand.
want more than to try to. Like you must have your mind made up past then.
There's like 12 different ice creams.
But they're so different. Like if you're in the mood for chocolate, you're not going to try every single one. You're going to try ones in that ballpark, which is probably 2.
Okay, say you looked at a bucket and it said like Honey Nut Cheerio, right? Okay.
Sure. Know exactly what that tastes like. Go on.
Okay, but would you want the sample?
No.
Well, okay. Say you're in the mood
If
for
it's like confusing.
Jawbreaker. Okay, what about Jawbreaker?
Sure, maybe.
You go, that's interesting. Jawbreaker, huh? That's pretty interesting.
So you're advocating for just a sample with no intent to get that flavor.
It's on the table. It's definitely on the table because if I go, look, I know what I'm going to get. I always like getting in a cookies and cream with a little bit of peanut butter, throw some caramel in there, some Oreo pieces, yada, yada. That is minimum what I'm going to get. But if I taste the rainbow, say there's a Skittles one and I taste the Skittles one and I go, well, actually, this tastes fucking good. It might do well with the chocolate. Now, that's a bad example, obviously. But, okay, so yesterday I got a milkshake, right? Last night I went and I got a milkshake, okay? I'm not proud of it.
It's great, man.
But I got a milkshake at this place called Ilio's by my apartment, right? And they have all these different flavors and stuff. So I got the cookies and cream, but they were out of peanut butter. So I got a pecan waffle or something like that. I went, wow, I wouldn't have gotten this, but it actually tastes really good with the chocolate. So let's mix those two together. So I was just testing it. I mean,
but how many tests did you have?
right, we're getting away from the root of the argument
because I'm not opposed to the sample.
here.
I just think it's a 2 maximum sample. Then you're getting a little greedy with it, I think.
Greedy. I mean, that's crazy.
I would be
that's like
embarrassed.
something Logan Roy would say. They got 2 samples.
I would be embarrassed to ask for more than 2. Even when I am at a fancy restaurant and they're pouring wine for me to sample, even if I hate it on number 2, I'm like, that's great. I'm not going to keep sending it back.
See,
Maybe because I'm passive, but
so
also
different. If they're pouring wine as a free sample, I'm trying to get buzzed.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
I'm
like
trying to
that's
get
kind of
buzzed
what
off
I'm
this
saying
wine.
is the people who are taking the multiple samples, are you just gaming
Right.
the system or do you
Red
genuinely
State.
want to
Red
taste
State
these?
Nicole here. This is very
It's
Republican
fucking
of you.
ice cream, bro.
This is very Republican of you. You're like, you're going, how many handouts do we have to give these people?
Of ice cream samples.
Well, anyway, sound off in the comments what you think is right. Am I right for caring about people and not businesses? Or is conservative Nicole right, where nobody gets a free ride?
Look,
Right.
I don't
ask grass or gas. Nobody rides for free in Nicole's car.
I don't care about Big Gelato. I care about the employee.
The fat cat's over at Big Gelato.
I care about the employee, and then everybody else. You're wasting people's time. Is like, we're not going to go about this all day. This is the fucking intro of the podcast. But if someone was in front of me doing that, I think that's inconsiderate of the employee's time and these people's time. If you're willy-nilly
this all day.
This is the
I could
episode.
really talk about this all day. I know we got to get into the episode, but if the person who was doing this, who was getting all these samples, turned to you, you're waiting in line, they turn to you and they go, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what I want. Does that completely make you go, okay, whatever, and you're not in a rush? If you're not in a rush and the person
I'd still be
turns,
mad.
You'd still be mad.
I don't know what it is. Like, not to be like,
That's
oh,
so
it's like a New
interesting.
Yorker, whatever. Like, but I think there is something about it when it's like someone is just taking their
Hilarious.
sweet time that it bothers
Right.
me. But I'm like, you don't see anybody else. Like, I think where I run into this the most is at the pharmacy. The person in front of me is always on the phone with whoever and screaming at the person.
Right.
And then me going to pick up my meds is like a 30-minute experience.
It always comes down to personal shit. You know what I mean? You only care because you've experienced the other side.
I'm
but
projecting from CVS.
Exactly. You're projecting. But if you were on the other end of that and you were like, well, I would like to know what kind of, I'm going to be drinking this milkshake or eating this ice cream all for like 20 minutes. You know, I want to know what I'm getting.